Why did Reconstruction go so badly after the American Civil War? Although we tend to think of the Civil War as a great American victory over slavery, the actual result wasn't very good. Reconstruction failed due to the government's lack of a plan, which created a power vacuum in the former Confederacy. Due to the fog of war, no unified political leadership in the former Confederacy, and ex-Confederate terrorism, the Reconstruction was a total disaster. There was chaos at the end of the war that led to much mismanagement. It was the first modern war due to the strategies and technology which were a lot more like World War I than previous wars. Some technology included telegraphs, trenches, and ironclad, like the ships. Strategies were even more important than any of these, though. General Sherman thought that the sooner it was over, the better. He said, quote, "War is cruelty, there is no use trying to reform it. The crueler it is, the sooner it will be over," unquote. This ideology was an important part of his march to the sea. He marched to the sea sparing nobody. He freed slaves and gave them land, but it was not really officially government acknowledged. So soon after the war was over, many of the freed slaves ended up getting their land taken away, which led to many both slaves and owners disliking the Union in the South, and many of the former Confederates left for Brazil. Secondly, internal conflict within the U.S. government led to no unified political leadership in the former Confederacy. Lincoln stopped being a Republican, which almost gave an incentive for his assassination. John Wilkes Booth was an extremely famous actor who wanted a Democratic president, and a Democratic vice president was there at the time. Once Lincoln died, the new president was a Democrat, and there was a completely new perspective to the issues. The whole side flipped. Andrew Johnson, the new president, felt he had to personally manage each African American ordeal, or even individually. He couldn't but he mostly let the South do as they pleased. There was the lack of any one strategy led to conflicts with who to help and how to help them. The South became very anti-democratic. Republicans in Congress became set on thwarting Democrats such as Andrew Johnson. The winning war, Abraham Lincoln, there was a waning war between that within them, and because as the war was waning, Abraham Lincoln worked to promote leniency with the Confederates. After his assassinations, Republicans took a much more strident approach to reconstructing the South. Andrew Johnson tried to be even more lenient, but the Republican congressman rebelled. He tried to trick his way into fighting. They tried to trick their way into fighting Reconstruction. He got impeached. He illegally removed the Secretary of War from office. He was acquitted, but he never really recovered. His new colonial system was designed to reintegrate the South. Was called carpetbaggers. Quote, "Most carpetbaggers were probably combined the desire for personal gain with a commitment to taking part in an effort to substitute the civilization of freedom for that of slavery," unquote. according to Eric Foner. The such haphazardness of internal conflict, partially due for personal gain, led to no real power being in the South, and this was a major factor. And thirdly, many ex-Confederates became terrorists because of the Reconstruction. The KKK was one of the most dangerous organizations against Reconstruction. Quote, Tuskegee University work confirms 30,440 black documented lynchings and another 13,000 lynchings of whites, unquote, according to John Greenberg. This was important because this shows that they had a great power of intimidation. They had many rituals that started because of their imitations of the Sons of Malta, too. They started it out as a club of ex-Confederates, but they branched out. One of their rituals was lighting crosses as beacons. This started because of a film about them. It was made to look like beacons as a warning. The commemoration of Protestants killed by Catholics. Their media coverage in a positive light helped spread this terrorism and power. So, their positive media's positive coverage of ex-Confederate terrorism, combined with the fog of war, and meaning there was no real one direct approach to Reconstruction, and the great number of wartime commands that were not really officially government propagated or approved, as well as the lack of unified political leadership in the South, led to the Reconstruction being ultimately a disaster. Thank you.